Well, hello there, and I do hope you're all well. Is Liz Truss fit to be Prime Minister? I think again. Yes, I know this is from late July and a bit late. And clearly she will beat Rishi Sunak for the race to become the new UK Prime Minister, but with Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss tearing lumps out of each other and saying the quiet bit out loud by saying how Boris Johnson's government and how badly the government for the last 12 years have ran the country to rack and ruin, that would make, yes, Prime Minister look like world-class diplomats. But given by some horrific catastrophic error on the part of Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak chances of beating her are practically dead as a dodo. But I had these little gems for a while, as I said, this cross-party select committee meeting where Liz Truss was Foreign Secretary was asked, given that they needed 1,000 extra staff to help with the situation with Russia and Ukraine, which other departments did they come from? Let's just say they both had the rabbits in the headlights look. Watch through your fingers.
Neil, you wanted to go?
We've moved on slightly, but I can come back to that. It was around the departmental merger and the extension that's touched on around Ukraine work, but also Afghanistan. In March, you wrote to the Prime Minister to ask for 1,000, I think it was, additional staff for the department to help manage. What was the answer?
So as you know, there's a process across the whole of the government around the size of the civil service, and the Foreign Secretary and I are engaged, as we've been asked to be by the Cabinet Office and the Treasury in that process. We've begun those discussions. They haven't concluded. That's the process by which decisions will be taken around the overall size of the civil service
so
and individual.
They want to cut the number.
Individual departments.
And you've asked for some more. What's the situation right now?
I'm explaining where we are in terms of numbers of people in the department.
No, you're waffling a little bit.
Slightly more yet.
There's a civil service-wide process which hasn't concluded. That will answer the question about the long-term size of the department. On that process, there'll be a conclusion in the autumn. It's a centrally run process.
Sorry, Sir Philip. Sorry, Sir Philip. If it's in autumn, we can come back to it then. But in the meantime, what is happening to civil servants out there who are being tasked with the work that you would like that 1,000 extra to be doing? You've asked for that 1,000 quotient. So what's been deprioritised in order to deliver the work of that 1,000 people that you've not got yet?
So the process will conclude in the autumn. In the meantime, we are recruiting additional staff because we knew that particularly at the less senior levels we didn't have enough staff, and that recruitment process is happening now, and additional staff will be coming into the department over the next few months as we conclude those processes. The Foreign Secretary set out how we've restructured to make sure we are prioritising what we need to do in light of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, that we are, in the way the Foreign Secretary described, absolutely focused on that, absolutely focused in a more coherent way around how we lead our development work. The international economics work that Kumar leads, being clear about our leadership of geographic work.
So what was deprioritised?
So we're focused on the top priorities as the Foreign Secretary set out, Russia's invasion of Ukraine primarily.
Okay, so what was deprioritised? You're not answering. You're saying that you've taken on these additional priorities and you've asked for extra staff to do it, but you're not saying what's been deprioritised. It's a really simple question.
So clearly, as we look forward, as it were, there's the work you do on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. There's other areas of work that we get to when we can.
I'm trying to help.
Perhaps the Foreign Secretary would like to help you.
So as Philip says, we have moved staff into Russia, Ukraine. We've moved staff into geopolitics, so supporting on the G7 work around that. I mean, we have gained some efficiencies in doing that. I think it's important to point out. So I was talking about development. There's quite a lot of disparate teams across the organisation. We've now put them.
Desperate is the word. Yes, quite right. You are both desperately floundering in the wind with this question.
Into a single area or a single directorate, and that has created more coherence in the organisation.
You've drawn
and in
down
terms
on-
of geographical areas, I've highlighted Russia, Ukraine, the Indo-Pacific. We've got a strong tilt towards the Indo-Pacific. We also are making sure that our development aid in Africa is going up over time. So those are the areas that we're prioritising. I mean, in terms of staff numbers, I'm sure we could write to you
Perhaps,
on...
Foreign Secretary, you could tell me where you might have drawn down from. Have you drawn down from South America? Have you drawn down from Asia? Have you drawn down from America, Australia, Europe? I mean, I can keep going if you like.
We also have extra staff who've come over from the Cabinet Office to support the NIP
You've drawn down
work.
no staff from any other areas at all.
I mean, overall...
So, overall, Chair, what we did is, after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we had prepared an immediate 24/7 crisis response. We drew across the organisation as the situation through the immediate response became clearer. We then wanted to make sure we had an enhanced effort. Again, we drew across the organisation. We looked at where we could find additional people. We've done that across the whole.
I'm just
the whole
delighted
department.
that the Foreign Office is clearly the department on the mount, and every time you look for loaves and fishes, you reach into the basket and there's enough to feed the 5,000. It's fantastic. It's a remarkable achievement.
Now, for me, Liz Truss is clearly like that tortoise stuck on the top of a wooden post. You sat there thinking, you're looking at this tortoise, stuck in the middle of this wooden post, and you're thinking, how on earth has it got there? It's the same with Liz Truss, in it. Foreign Secretary post is far above her station. Can you imagine the next few liaison committee meetings will be like? Oh, don't bear thinking about, does it? Right. Have a lovely weekend. Until the next time, I shall bid you farewell and take care.